It's what I like to refer to as dating as opposed to marriage.
Speed dating.
Yeah, that's like speed dating. Do you know what I mean? To see as many people as you can and make connections as quickly as you can, and then
We're still talking about real estate.
Hi, I'm Ashleigh Goodchild and welcome to the PM Collective podcast, where I invite you to listen to opinions and stories that are relevant in the property management world. I hope you enjoy today's episode.
All right, welcome to the latest episode of PM Collective. Today we are joined with James from Peard Real Estate and Kasey from SOCO Realty. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello, thank you.
Now, we are going to do a little bit of a battle of the sexes today. Well, it's not really a battle, but we're just going to chat about it because I am very curious with regards to why there are not many males in the industry. So I was trying to count in the car on the way in. I think I know 4 male property managers. Case, how many do you know?
I just met my first one today. Rare species.
And what about you? Do you know many, James?
I used to work with one at the Mount Lawley office. His name was Travis. He was there for about a year.
Yeah.
And then, he moved on. So I've worked with other males before.
Yeah. And how many would you know? Like if I was to say how many do you know in Perth, what would the answer be?
Probably a handful.
Yeah. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
All right. So tell me, first of all, how you got started, James, because I'm curious.
Well, finished school, was at university hating life, and
what did you do at uni?
Human biology, major in science.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was manager at McDonald's at the same time as well, and it literally was offered to me and said, hey, you should put your resume in here as like a sort of admin type role, like right at the very bottom. And
of a real estate?
Yeah, real estate. And that's how it started.
So you got poached at McDonald's?
Well,
Is that what you're
I was
saying?
at McDonald's, already working.
Having a cheeseburger.
And then a friend of mine said, there's a position here. They actually worked there too, and said you should, if you're interested, put your resume in. And I got the job, and it just went from there.
So this is really cool because this leads straight on into 2 things. One, I spoke to Joe on one of the last podcasts about the link with hospitality. Yeah, which is interesting. Like, I find that cool. And the second thing was the fact that you started on an admin role. And I think that is the reason why we have more females in property management than males, because naturally, and this podcast is completely stereotypical, fully aware. So no, what do you call them? Activists?
We can't get cancelled.
Yeah. But like, I am just stereotyping it completely. But generally, a female gets a job as a receptionist or admin, and then works her way up to property management. And it's very rare to have a male receptionist, isn't it? Yeah. And so that's cool that you've come in as an admin, because that's exactly the way and exactly the reason why females are in the industry. Did you like admin?
Yes and no. I was a little bit younger, and you sort of think, I can do this, why can't I do that? Instead of actually sort of getting the actual time you need to progress, and because you think you're ready when you're not, and that was me. But I'm glad that I did it. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, excellent. And Case, how did you get into property management? What were you doing before?
I was helping my partner look for his first home to buy. Before property management, I was a stay-at-home mum for 8 years, so this was kind of a thing for me to do. And, I just found myself getting really into it. Any spare time that I had, I'd be looking at real estate. And then I did my course. And then one of my friends saw on Facebook that you had posted an ad up for an assistant with, no experience. I thought, well, that's me. Sweet. I've only been out for 2 minutes. So, I applied, and, I was up against someone else, and
I liked you.
You chose me. Yeah. And that's
I can see why.
And she's still with me, which is great. We actually had quite a big D&M, I think, at our first interview, James.
Yeah.
And we were both basically in tears.
It was like I'd known Ash for ages. I think we were both very vulnerable in certain stages of our personal lives, and I think that vulnerability kind of made us feel like we'd known each other for years. And then I was like, I've got over this chick, it's fine.
I made her cry. Exactly. All right. So landlords versus, now I think there's two sections to male property managers. You've got oh gosh, what's the word to use? You've got the perception that agency real estate business owners have, and then the perception that the landlords have. Now, I think that first of all, you've, as a male property manager, you've got to get past the agency owners' barriers, and then they've got landlords. So, and the reason why I mention it is because I was speaking to some people in recruitment, and they were actually saying that there are some business owners that are very hesitant to employ males.
Wow.
What, is it like a threat thing, or like?
Well, I don't know. Like, gee,
I'll be too good at the job, maybe.
Yeah, I think that can actually, you know, like even with like your personality, like if someone gets along better with someone else, and that could be a threat because they might want to go with that person because they just get like a better vibe, or they're a bit more casual, or do you know what I mean? I think it might depend on.
Or it could be like what you were saying before with, you know, only having us, you know, all ever met, you know, a handful of male property managers. If you're a business owner and you know something to have worked in the past with like staff and gender being one of those things, and then you get something different, and you're like, oh, well, I'm not willing to try this.
And like there's probably a little bit, again, so stereotypical, but, you know, the egotistical sales rep business owner wanting females, like you running around, and you know what I mean, as a superior, inferior type thing. I know that sounds really bad, but, you know, you sometimes you look at these staff profile pages and these girls are beautiful, you know, and you can see how they employ beautiful looking females, you know, and I think maybe it's a power thing, like that they've got these.
There's been agencies that I've walked into as a renter myself, and they look completely different to me. Appearance-wise, very, very different to me. Like I think, you know how some people assume that if you're in real estate, let's just say, and you have to drive a certain car, or you have to look a certain way, and, you know, your hair has to be a certain way, and the Botox is in, and, you know, it's very, there's a lot of it that's very superficial. I'm kind of not into that, but I can see a lot of that in real estate, and I don't know if that's trying to attract. What are you trying to attract to come? You know what I mean? Like it's
I think from a recruitment point of view, they're sort of thinking that maybe the male just feels like that if they're the only male in the office, they've got the control of the office, as opposed to a male coming in and possibly trying to be a boss in a way.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
No, I would never,
Do you boss anyone around in your office?
My office would disagree, but no.
They're still employed, so it doesn't matter. So I just think, that's just a perception of a male, you know, a male business owner, that they might just feel like they want to be the one in control, just at the head of the pecking order, and bringing another male in might change
I think that. You guys are like a naturally competitive in life in general. So I think it's like a competitive, you know, same as like a sport or anything. It's kind of like, well, does he earn more than me? Does he, you know, like it's very, a very subtle one.
Let's do a couple of little true and falses. So, can males multitask, James? Quick answer.
True and false.
Yeah. So you say
true and false?
Oh,
false.
No, you've got to give one answer. That's not fun.
Okay, all right. All right.
Oh, no, you're thinking too much. What do you want to say? Go.
Okay, well.
Can you multitask?
Yes, that's what I'm going back to. Sometimes I need lists to like keep me sort of focused. Otherwise, when there's 50,000 things happening, I sort of like crumble. And then, you know, but if I've got those lists there, it keeps me all together, and so then yes, I can multitask.
Great. So and you're a real checklist type person. Like you operate quite strongly with checklists in your office.
Yes. Yep. But as in more of a day-to-day management sort of thing, I literally have a blank page and then prioritise my tasks. I literally just writing it item by item and then tick, 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 done.
Yeah. Kasey, can males multitask? Quick answer.
No. No.
Boo.
I mean, my partner's FIFO. I work full-time. I have 3 kids. You know, like, no. I'm going to say no. Look, everyone's different, but I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I think that...
Sorry, lads.
No. I actually think what James said is absolutely perfect. I think that that the fact that, like, females, I think, multitask in their head.
Naturally, I think they just naturally do it.
But in their head, you know, like you're on your way to your office and you're going, I've got to get this and this and this done. Where what you're saying, James, is that that you sort of write it down on a list, which I actually think is wonderful, because I think that is the way that you manage multitasking, which is perfect. And there's absolutely going to be some females in the world that need to multitask by a list as well. And I think that's exactly what males maybe don't do. Like, you do it, which is great, but I bet you there's a lot. The majority wouldn't do your list.
If I don't do it, something will happen, like, you know, house is burning down or hot water system's going and the house burning down.
That's legit that I accidentally missed that one.
Oh, whoops. No, if I don't write a minuscule thing down, like, oh, you know, I need to get back to this owner about a lease renewal,
like a
or something
message,
like, you know, then something big will happen, and then that little thing just slips away. So
no, excellent. What about? We're about the true and falses. Do males have a better understanding of maintenance than a female? Quick answer.
True. No, false.
I'm going to go with that first answer. Tell me what the benefit of being a male with maintenance is.
I think, like we were saying before outside, that with owners, the owners have the perception that you know more about maintenance, when in actual fact I probably don't. And they think, oh, okay, he's going to get me a good price. He's going to, you know, he knows he's a good tradesman, and, you know, it's all in his capable hands.
Yeah. Because he's a man.
Yeah.
and again, you know, plumbers are males, electricians are males, handymen are males. We've got no females.
We've had one electrician to come in, and even then, it's you're still like, oh. Wow, like there's like a female electrician. They're so rare.
That's a bit like this male property manager.
Yeah. No, it's in every industry. It's not just ours.
It's like male nurses.
Yeah,
I think I've come across one in my life. You guys are you're like a rare species. Like I want to get a photo and go, look what I found
in the wild.
Yeah, like they actually exist.
Yeah. What about maintenance for you? Do you think males do you think landlords would react better to a male calling them up and saying that there's a maintenance issue? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that as a female, you've probably got to be pretty confident, like, with your maintenance and your experience. And as time gets on, you probably get better with that. But I definitely think a male would be a landlord likes hearing a male's voice.
Yeah.
About maintenance.
Yeah. I think you're right with experience. Like the more, you know, like if the electronic gate breaks down, like what is it called? The box where you can actually manually open it, or an alarm system, or the gas water, or the pipes, and then I'm just sitting there with like doing like, I don't know.
Maybe they think that I'm wearing like a hard hat and high vis down on site
underneath, like Superman.
But that's just what we perceive, isn't it? Yeah. Arrears. Do we think males or females can manage and be like harder on tenants with arrears, James?
So
this question is males or females answer. So if you've got someone who's in arrears and you've got to be pretty strict with them, do you reckon they're like, you know, do you reckon that they will take it more seriously for hear you calling up for it?
So, okay, females probably more empathetic towards tenants. Oh, yeah. Well, not still hearing them, but saying, hey, you got to pay your rent. Yep. Whereas a male might come across as more just, not cold, but like just a bit more direct, and, you know, that's still polite, obviously, but I think
I kind of feel like it's a bit of like an intimidation, like, there's a bloke calling, like, like, but you know, there are some females that I would probably be scared of getting a phone call from. I'm not here right now.
But I guess, like, you know, with it, an excuse, like, I guess if you had a tenant who had an excuse for rent arrears, then a male, like, I don't know, James, about you, but, you know, while yes, you are empathetic, but to look like that you are naturally, you know what I mean? To look like you're naturally empathetic might not look like you are, like as a male. Do you reckon?
I agree.
I know that's really like, it's really sexist to say, but it's just as opposed to like, you know, a female, like throw me an excuse that.
And I guess, I mean, for me, I know all my tenants, so I know all their situations. And if something unfortunate has come up, when you know they always pay their rent on time, we could go for days with this whole COVID thing about like the whole rent situation, which is really unfortunate. But when you are aware of, you know, your tenants always pay on time, and then this one time, you know, something's happened that's out of their control and they go into rent arrears for like 2-3 weeks, I think that, you know, I think that could be a little bit different.
I think a tenant might feel that they're a little bit more understood maybe from a female.
Yeah.
And generally it's probably the female that we're calling in a rental situation.
Most times it is, yeah.
Yeah. And again, being very stereotypical, but the female's the one at home and the paying the bills and the man's at work, and so you call the female, you know. And so again, it's like everything is completely stereotypical. Let's touch on this little sensitive subject we're not mentioning numbers, but we're going to just talk in general about wages in a property management in the property management industry. Could the wage be a turn off for males to become a property manager? Case, what do you reckon? Yeah,
I do.
What do you reckon?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that is, and I don't think people will sort of slam me for saying this, but I'm just going to, it's easy just to say it as it is. But I think that it's, a female is generally a support to a female is generally a support to the family income. Generally. Yeah. And so the property management wage is okay for that. But I guess if you were a provider to the family, I don't feel that property management would be something that would be a financial benefit. You know, so then that's why males get into different positions in the real estate industry, because like so what I've been trying to work out, and I do love the psychology behind it, but like a property manager is generally on a salary, and it's a fixed salary. That's it. There's no room for movement as such. There's no commission structure. But BDM, sales, being a licensee, and being, did I say commercial manager, they all have your salary, but then there's always the potential to earn more because there's always like a percentage, there's always a KPI and a percentage commission on top of that, so that therefore males, I think, get into those areas because they can earn a little bit more and they can work that a little bit harder to be uncapped with their salary. Do you reckon that's a fair comment?
Yeah, I do.
I think so.
Yeah. You guys are going to get me to say all the hard stuff, aren't you? You guys are like, zip your lips up with that one. So my problem with it, well, actually, I was talking like on one of the last episodes that property managers should really be good if we could put property managers on a percentage, like, and not on a salary, so that they are uncapped with their earnings. You know what I mean? Like if you only wanted to, like let's just throw it out there and say if there was a structure where, and I'm sure there's offices that do this, but a structure where you get paid per property that you manage. And so then if you only want to look after 30 properties, then great. But if you want to look after 200 properties, then you're the uncapped, you know, like you've got potential to earn good money. Like, so as a general, we'll sort of say that a property manager from an assistant to like a senior in a property management role would be, I think, I'm going to say 50 to 75-ish. And then to get if you want to earn more than that, then you really got to get into a BDM role or a commercial role where you probably get like leasing fees and stuff like that, licensee or sales.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that can be a bit like overwhelming. It's like, well, do I want to take that extra? Do I want to do that when there's everything else going on, like in your personal life, you know? And then you want to take on another role. It's like, well, can I fit that into my? But
that's interesting because that's from a female point of view when you've got other things that you've got to like deal with at home. Like you know, you're responsible for the kids and the shopping and the house, running the household, where males stereotypically don't have those distractions. So they've got potential to
I do my own ironing, okay?
Mate, I don't even own an iron. No, it's like, good on you.
My mum bought me an iron about 18 months ago and said use it. So I'm the same. it's sort of that's one of those things that you've got to stop being too hooked up on, I think, isn't it, with when you're working full time. But as stereotypically a male, you don't have to worry about those things, so you can just focus on your career and have the support of a partner at home to help with maintaining a house.
I suppose it goes for any female that's very career orientated as well, that doesn't have any other responsibilities, where they can work just as hard and go for those things as well.
And you're right, they do. So people.
I feel like a lot of females are doing that lately. Like they're having kids later, or maybe they don't want kids and they're just very career driven, which I think that's great.
Yeah. But females in a sales role, commercial role, are very they're very driven. Because they do put.
And
that
I personally haven't seen a lot of, sorry, ladies, like younger sales reps.
No.
They're usually a little bit older. Yeah. I'm not going to say ages here, but they're usually a little bit older and they've had a lot of experience.
A little bit older, like in their late 30s or something. Is that what you're meaning?
I'm not saying that.
Well, that's what turned me off sales.
That's putting my age in there.
So what turned you off sales?
Because when, I thought sales would be the right way to go because, stereotypes.
Yeah.
I was more drawn to that. If you gave me the option, this or that, I'd pick that.
Yeah.
But obviously,
from a wage point of view, do you think?
No,
from a driven.
Driven and the job itself. It's very sort of, and this goes back to BDM. That's why I've been doing some BDM recently, and I find it's not adrenaline, but it's very fast paced, and then it's on to the next, and then but still, obviously, you got to maintain all those relationships and all that. But I do like the it's just so in and out kind of
it's that
position.
quick relationship, and that's cool because that's exactly what that BDM role, but it's also the same as sales. It's that quick. It's what I like to refer to as dating as opposed to marriage.
Speed dating.
That's like speed dating. You know what I mean? To see as many people as you can and make connections as quickly as you can, and then
we're still talking about real estate.
where the property management is longer term, and females nurture that relationship in property management, when BDMs, sales, and even commercial in a way, if you think about it, because you really don't have to interact on a regular basis with those businesses, do you? Just sort of stick them in that short-term relationship and then they stay there for 5 years. So that's sort of, I guess, where, from a male point of view, you are saying that you quite enjoy that quick.
Like the chase.
You like speed dating. Correct. Yeah, that's it. So, and females, I guess, if you are being distracted with home life, then you're happy just with that more relaxed role.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be adding any more stress into your life. Because it would be stressful from a commission point of view, I feel. Yeah. But see, I actually wouldn't like to be on commission because I'd find that stressful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when the time that I came into real estate wasn't a good time just in general for the economy. So when I did my course, it was sales with a bit of property management in it. Mm-hmm. But then I realised once I came out where people, they were struggling to sell homes, and that kind of put me off a little bit, and it hasn't been very good since I've been in this industry up until now so it's kind of and Bill's bang, 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 getting all these, appraisals and stuff. And this is new for me. I've not seen it like this before. So I can see how
you wouldn't
when times are good, I can see where the adrenaline comes from. I can see where the excitement comes from. And then people start earning more money and there's not so much stress in the office with, so this is a different time for me too. So
how long have you been in real estate for?
Going on 6 years, so I can completely relate to that. The market has been up until, like you said, recently, completely skewed to the tenant in terms of rental prices and all that. Not barely doing increases, in fact doing decreases, and now it's just on the up. And that's what if people are like, oh, I find this, increase unreasonable or whatever, they're just shocked, they can't believe it. I don't take it as an insult, and I explain that to them. I said, I've been in the industry nearly 6 years. this is the first time in my time where this has happened. Like, your time will come again, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's having that conversation with the owners where they used to say, oh, Kasey, like this property once upon a time was $700 a week. And I can't wrap my head around the fact that property was $700 a week.
Really?
Now it's $2.50. No. But yeah, so let's just say it came down to $450, and I feel like the owners want to get straight back up into what it was, but it's I have to explain to them, kind of speak at like hearing bill in sales, but also as a property manager, like you hear kind of what's going on and you kind of put in your input. You got to get them to calm down a little bit because I know it's exciting times right now, but we can't put old mates rent up by like $200 a week now that, So this is all very new. And I guess at the moment, you've got tenants either going to take it or they're going to leave, but because rentals, are so hard to find now, they're most likely going to pay that increase.
Anyway. I know.
So
yeah, I don't think we're going to see the full effect of it all for a few months, to be honest. With all of that, it's not. I think people will accept it, but I don't know if it's sustainable long term for tenants with rent increases and stuff. So it'll be very interesting. Let's finish off with. What is the benefit of being a male in property management, James? Tell all the males out there.
So
those 4 that are listening.
All the males out there. So the biggest benefits, and I have never ever felt concerned or worried about my safety, as you shouldn't when you're working, and like I'm always dumbfounded at the amount of times and stories and countless incidents where women, get harassed or, they go to an inspection and there's just a naked man there or, you know what I mean? Like that's just despicable and, I hate to compare it like that. But I mean,
that's true though.
I've never experienced that and I would.
It'd be like more likely of us to encounter something than,
At CPD training, they always talk about it at, even in the office, and I'm like, oh my God, I do not know what I would do.
On that, which I think is really interesting, do you think that sometime down, the path, that people would have to do some form of, I don't know, let's just say like a self-defense or like have like a session on safety, like what would you do if, you were doing this home open and let's say 2 males, we're talking here, turn up and you felt really uncomfortable, what would happen? Like, is that, do you think that's going to happen?
Funny you say it, because I actually was speaking to someone this week about it. So there is a company, I can't remember the name of it, I think it's Shield, and they actually train people to be aware of unsafe surroundings and just real simple. It's there's a name for it, but it's basically it's how to get out of a situation verbally and physically, and so they actually do that. So there is something around when it's happened.
Don't park your car on the driveway.
Or don't even go inside. Just kind of
so if
hang outside.
If I've had anyone that I've been uneasy about, it's been a while, but when I've actually just said to them, listen, I've just got to make a few quick phone calls, just go through the property and have a look through and come out when you've got, with some questions or whatever. And I just pretend I'm on the phone and I just call someone and I just hang out the front. And so that's what I've done. I've never physically gone into the house if I felt uneasy. And I actually did a really bad one once where they were so dodgy out the front, like really, really, there was a problem, and I actually just cancelled the appointment. And on my way, I saw them. I kept on driving, and I just cancelled it. And I said, "Sorry, it's been leased," just because I just wasn't even going to get into that situation. So it's bad to do it, but it's
but if it's just safety, like and you always go with your gut feeling. I reckon if you feel like something's not right, then. Yeah, I would go with that gut feeling.
Yeah. So I think, James, the benefit of being a male in property management would be, I'm actually going to say it's actually probably more of the respect as a male that you actually get, the respect from landlords and people that, you're not as vulnerable maybe as a female.
Yeah.
That'd be safe to say, wouldn't it?
I think so. And it's crazy how you'd have to do like a course on safety and security, you know, just to go to work. Honestly, it's
you're right.
You should do every time you sign up a new tenant. You should say, okay, these are the do's and the don'ts.
Yeah,
don't be naked at an inspection.
I know.
That's only on Fridays.
What part of property management do you think a male excels in? So if we look at let's look at arrears, inspections, maintenance, and admin. What category would a male excel in?
I think that maybe the leasing BDM side. I don't know if that's because I enjoy it, but like I silently qualify the tenants by just talking to them, and I'm building up the relationship then and there, but really I'm like trying to find out if they're
So naturally males are good in that.
I think, well, I don't know if it's just me or males in general, but I feel like males are there's what's the word? Aces in their places, they'd be great in a leasing sort of BDM position.
Yeah. I agree absolutely, because it's less admin tasks and more in front of people. Yeah. And have that short-term relationship done. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah. Case, how can we, and we'll leave the last question for you, how do you think we can change the property management industry to get more males on board?
Throw the money around.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's where I was hoping.
But I mean, any pay increase or that's always going to be very attractive to someone. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, because we have this thing where the male is the breadwinner, back in the day, and I think they take pride in how much they earn. Like I said, I think it's a competitive thing, and if the money was in it, then I definitely think that there would be more males. But I kind of feel like property management is like we're the caretakers. It's kind of like you've got the sales, and then we down here, the property managers, like we're caring for the properties, and we're, like it's like a female role where we're taking care of the households, But I don't know. Throw another 100K at them and see what they say. Then I will know about plumbing. There you go.
Then I'll make sure I know about plumbing.
I know everything about everything.
Go do a course to be a plumber.
Wear our hard hats to work.
Exactly. Well, thank you for joining me. And these guys are totally, I speak on their behalf, but if you have any questions for James or Kasey, you can reach them on social media. They are both very big on Instagram, so I would say that would be a great platform to touch base if they wanted to touch base with you guys.
JY Property Management.
SOCO Realty.
Thanks, guys.